The materials should be applied in a clean, dust-free, well-lit room. Your workshop should be within the temperature range of 15 to 38 degrees C. The vehicle and reflective material should have been placed in the workshop at least 24 hours at this temperature before commencing any application. This will allow time for the preparation of the vehicle. It will also ensure that the vehicle's surface and reflective material have time to reach room temperature. In cold climates, surfaces should be warmed up in order to achieve optimum substrate temperatures. Applying the material in hot environments can cause the film to stretch more easily, and the adhesive becomes too aggressive upon initial substrate contact. The vehicle should be cleaned, well rinsed and finally dried. The correct temperature is vital to achieving a good adhesive bond. The use of an infrared thermometer is recommended. Check multiple parts of the bodywork and the actual kit to be applied. Successful adhesive bonding always starts with surface preparation. To achieve a strong and permanent bond, it is important to remove all contaminants to provide a smooth, clean and dry surface before applying the adhesive. The surface must be thoroughly cleaned of all grease, road film and any other materials that will affect the adhesive bond. Aurifol only recommend Auracal Pre-Wrap Cleaner. Other surface preparation cleaners may contain slow evaporating solvents or scented additives that may affect the final adhesion properties. Aurifol cannot accept warranty claims when such cleaners are used. Use a clean cloth with Auracal Pre-Wrap Cleaner and wipe the surface in one direction only to avoid spreading contamination. Do not spray the cleaner solution directly onto the vehicle surface. Instead, apply to a clean cloth and undertake the cleaning action. If a new or unfamiliar substrate is to be applied to, carry out assessments of adhesion prior to any work. This also applies if the vehicle bodywork may have had any accident damage and subsequent paintwork repairs. We will now demonstrate how to apply Auralite 6900 in Battenberg effect onto a police vehicle. The colours we are using are royal blue and fluorescent yellow-green. Auralite 6900 has to be edge sealed before application. The tombstone test checks that this has been done correctly and that no leakage occurs into the cells. Under proper seal parameters, greater than 95% of cell edges can be achieved with Auralite 6900. After properly preparing and cleaning the substrate, the following tools are required to apply the product using the dry method: a squeegee with a soft side, or a cloth squeegee sleeve to avoid scratching the film. Ensure any felt edges are not worn away. Masking tape, 15 to 25 mm wide, magnets, and a pair of scissors or appropriate cutting blades. And a heat gun with a temperature range of 250 to 400 degrees C. Before beginning any application, lay out all the pieces of the kit onto a table. Check for any damage of panels, remove any loose shards and keep the design plan in a convenient place. All of the kit panels are numbered to ensure that the position of each piece is easy to follow. Before you begin, please note, it is important to avoid touching the adhesive side of the material during application. This is especially important on the material corners. Before completing any application, undertake a full, dry run of taping all of the materials onto the vehicle with the liner still intact. This will reveal any missing elements. When positioning the material on a car door, the handle is generally used as the initial anchor point. Position the material using magnets with the liner still intact and use the masking tape to hold the piece in place. Once you're happy with the position of this first piece, the remaining material can be placed in position on the door using magnets and masking tape. Make sure no panels are no closer than 6 mm to any edge, body swage lines or mouldings. Use the masking tape to create a hinge effect, as half the tape is in contact with the material and half is in contact with the car surface. In general, top hinging is used. Sometimes bottom or side hinging will be used if top hinging is not practical. Once all the pieces are in position and correctly aligned, full Battenberg kit panels should be aligned vertically and horizontally on the butt joins. Begin removing the liner, applying the product from the bottom, working upwards. Remove any edge filaments as you go. It is vital to apply the product correctly first time, as repositioning is not possible. Remove the liner and squeegee each livery piece into place using firm pressure. It is important to avoid touching the adhesive side of the material, particularly the corners and edges. Use very firm overlapping strokes to avoid trapping air. Re-squeegee around all of the edges, and in particular the rounded corners where good adhesion is essential. It's important to use a squeegee that's in good condition. The recommended squeegee action is one of pushing away from the centre, working outwardly. Modern car design is typified by complex interactions of differing curvatures. In some cases, a side hinge may not be possible. In this case, the applicator will have to work with the natural curve of the car to ensure a smooth application of the product. The material should not be applied around corners or edges, such as the door edge or wheel arch. Instead, it should be positioned 6 mm inwards from the edge. When applying reflective film to a large surface area, such as the side of the car, more than one piece of material is required. The pieces should be butt joined and care should be taken not to overlap the pieces. Overlapping will cause a raised edge, which is susceptible to lifting and failures. It is ideally recommended that the vehicle is kept at temperatures between 15 degrees C and 38 degrees C for 24 hours to allow the adhesion to build up between the substrate and the material before putting the vehicle into service. Auralite 6900 is easy to remove once the substrate temperature has reached the range of between 65 and 70 degrees Celsius. This is a finite and narrow temperature range. Again, use an infrared thermometer to determine this. Once the product is warmed up to within this range using a heat gun, it can easily be removed. Below a temperature of 65 Celsius, there is a risk of the material splitting and the adhesive backing sticking to the vehicle. If the temperature is too high, the material will bubble, which also makes removal difficult. Keep the angle of removal perpendicular to the surface and pull at a moderate speed. If the angle is more or less than 90 degrees, there is a greater chance of adhesive transferring from the sheeting to the working surface. Once the material is removed, there may be adhesive residue left behind on the working surface. The residue can be removed using packing tape or duct tape. With a repeating motion, dab the adhesive residue with the adhesive side of the packing or duct tape to pull off the residue. Leftover adhesive residue may also be removed with cleanup solvents and adhesive removers. Before use, always review the manufacturer's MSDS and test the surface in an inconspicuous area for compatibility. Due to the enormous variety of paint systems and substrates, Aurafol cannot guarantee that the product will be cleanly removed from the working surface.